Today we will be discussing about BetterHelp, a website and application that provides therapy to people from the comfort of their home. Our group consists of Pamela Chautla, Amy Carbajal Gutierrez, Andrea Torres, Jaelynn Wright, and myself, Jesus Juarez. As I just mentioned, BetterHelp is a website application that provides therapy to people from the comfort of their home, without having to go to a clinical or specific practice to get mental health help. This is very useful and was even more useful during the pandemic. During the pandemic, levels of depression increased. And as the levels of depression increased, the more people who needed mental health help. So, as people were getting more appointments, there was less and less appointments available for others to get the help they required. Just this last summer in San Diego County, I called about 20 different clinics to try to make an appointment for my younger brother, who was 16. I called every location within a 25-mile radius from my parents' house, and none of them had anything available anytime soon. Every location I called said that they were either not taking any new patients, and the ones who were taking new patients said that the wait time was from anywhere from at least 6 months to 9 months, which is absolutely crazy. And it's not much different for people who are current or who had already been getting mental health from specific clinics. They still had to wait about 6 months to just get help. But this could all change and be better for the people who seek help, because BetterHelp states that it takes an average about 24 hours to get matched with the counselor, which is absolutely crazy, and that is amazing. Having to go from waiting at least 6 months to get any form of help, from going to wait a minimum of 1 day, is a lot in the difference of time. Especially since we all have different needs. We are all different, and the people who might be seeking help might really need it. And unfortunately, if they don't get the help they need, things will just get worse for them. But thankfully, with BetterHelp, they can get the help they need right away. BetterHelp uses video conference technology, which is technology that allows users in different locations to hold a real-time face-to-face meeting. This technology provides live audio and visual communication between two or more people, in this case, the therapist and their patients. Since BetterHelp uses this technology, it means you can be absolutely anywhere in the world to get the help you need. There's no more having to worry about missing school, calling out work, and having to leave your home or anywhere you're at to go to a specific location to get help. Now you can do it from the comfort of your home. You can even go out to a parking lot during your break, at school, and even if you're going to travel, once you are traveling, you can even do it from the comfort of wherever else you go in the world or any other different state. Doesn't matter. Since it's something you can do from the comfort of your home or your computer, you can do it absolutely anywhere, which is amazing. BetterHelp is conducted by trained professionals. So it is not just any random person who wants to try to help people and just be there for them to talk to. No. BetterHelp is absolutely trained professionals, just like the ones you'll find at clinics, hospitals, and private practices. All the therapists at BetterHelp are fully licensed and in good standing. BetterHelp requires all therapists to provide documentation of their licensures, proof of their identity, and references from other licensed practitioners who have worked with them. Their license information is certified and cross-checked with their state's licensures board. Counselors are psychologists, marriage and therapists, clinical social workers, and licensed professional counselors. All of them have a master's or doctorate degree and possess at least 3 years and 1,000 hours of experience as a mental health professional. Something that is really nice with BetterHelp is that you can select the preference you have on the counselor's gender, age, and religion. We're all different, we all have different needs, and we all feel different speaking to different people. Some might prefer male or female, some might prefer younger with older, and some that follow religion may prefer somebody who follows the same religion. And with BetterHelp, you can just do that. You can pick a male or a female. You can pick their age and their religion, and BetterHelp will do their absolute best to match you with somebody that matches your preferences. And it gets even better. It is really friendly for LGBT people, the LGBT community, my apologies, as it allows you to be specific if you prefer a gay counselor. So this will be helpful for those who are LGBT and are having issues with maybe coming out or their sexual preferences, since you'll have a counselor who might have gone through a situation and will properly understand you. BetterHelp is also a friendly user for those who don't speak English. You can pick somebody and request somebody who speaks Spanish. It also gives you the ability to choose the type of counselor you prefer, one that you feel the most comfortable with and that you can relate to your situation. BetterHelp provides a questionnaire that will help you to identify what type of issues you'd like a counselor to have experience working with, such as parenting issues, eating disorders, LGBT-related issues, career problems, and compassion fatigue. This will help to better connect the patient with the counselor with more experience in the field of help. The patient will be able to speak to someone who can truly help them and not be going around looking for different therapists in which they feel truly understands them. This is something the case when going to therapy in person. You make an appointment and go talk to a psychologist, but once you are there, you feel like you just don't have any connection with them and that they don't truly understand you, and you have to request a new one in hopes that the next psychologist you get will be better and make you feel like they understand you, understand what you're going through, and can really help you. I know this has been the case with me in the past. I once had a psychologist, or I once made an appointment and saw the psychologist, and I felt really confused, and I just did not feel like it was a right match or that I belonged there. I felt like he did not understand me or that he wanted to help me in whatever way he wanted me to understand him. Doesn't really make sense, but hear me out. I went in there trying to get some help, just simple depression, just trying to understand myself, feel a little better, and try to get help, speak to somebody, express my feelings, my emotions, my problems. But as soon as I go in there, he starts kind of giving me advice on, like, you should try this form, write things down. And I told him, yeah, I've been writing things down for the last couple months, and it helps me for a bit, but it doesn't really help me, and that's why I'm here. I'm trying to be able to talk to somebody, speak to somebody, so I can feel better and get out of my depression and just be happy. Well, instead of giving me a response and continue conversation and trying to hear me out, he went on talking about Christopher Columbus and how he discovered America, which absolutely confused me. I had no idea what that had to do with what I was trying to say or the reason I was there. But I still gave it a chance and heard him out. Maybe he had a message at the end of that story which will help me or go back to what I was asking or saying. But it didn't. So I didn't feel comfortable. I felt like it was just wasting my time. He was wasting his time. So I requested for the appointment to finish earlier. As soon as I got out of there, I went to the front desk and requested a new therapist. Somebody who hopefully I would feel comfortable with. The only problem with this is that I had to wait an additional 4 to 6 weeks for me to get another appointment to see another psychologist. With BetterHelp, you can avoid all of this as it will select the best match for your specific needs and preferences, giving you the best psychologist for you. Just keep in mind that choosing different preferences about your counselor can make it take a little longer to find the counselor for you. Either way, it will probably still be much faster than trying to go in-person therapy. Today, we will be discussing about the disadvantages of using BetterHelp and the technology advancements like being able to Zoom and text the therapy anytime 24/7. We will talk about some of the disadvantages of BetterHelp that are things such as the lack of privacy. Therapists aren't able to diagnose conditions, and insurance may not cover the cost. And finally, statistics. Comparing in-person versus online therapy. Is there a difference in mental health improvement? Where there's differences between online and in-person therapy, and mental health improvements after therapy. Levels of depression before and after therapy.
Is Jaelynn Wright, and I'm here to share with you the benefits of the website BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp.com uses new technology to make professional therapy accessible, affordable, and convenient for anyone who struggles with life's challenges. Now you're able to get the help you need anywhere at any time. Every provider BetterHelp brings to the platform is fully licensed and in good standing. All of them have a master's degree or a doctorate degree in their field. Examples of these fields are psychology and marriage counseling. With that being said, many users believe BetterHelp is beneficial because you are able to personally choose your therapist, as well as change your therapist at any given time to better help you with the specific problem you're dealing with. This is beneficial because you can choose someone that you relate to, someone who looks like you, maybe has the same hair as you, dresses like you, someone that you can kind of see with your eyes. And you can possibly get a better insight on what you're going through. Maybe they've gone through these same challenges as you. With that, you can create a sense of community and bond with your therapist. A review from Miss Grimmer says, after just a few sessions with Mary, I must say her genuine nature and strong passion for what she does is clear. Even in moments where I feel like I can't articulate, she has the ability to piece together my concerns and make them tangible. This allows us to ask the important questions and reevaluate the patterns in a positive way. I'm hoping we can continue for many sessions to come. I anticipate it will get better as time and understanding of each other continues, she says. When going to sign up for BetterHelp, you're actually put through having to answer a numerous amount of questions. Questions like, how old are you? Are you in a relationship? What religion do you identify with? What led you to consider this therapy? All of these questions are so they can better match you with a therapist. They want to know more about you so you can get the best results. One of the main technological benefits is how you're able to live chat with any therapist you choose 24/7. Now you can fit your mental health needs within your own schedule and do more things instantly rather than waiting for a session to come. This makes things more proactive and less reactive. These chat sessions can be done over the phone, video, or messenger. And on the phone, you can use iPods, Androids, iPhones. You can use your laptop. It just makes it more accessible for people to have different ways of communicating other than in person. To talk with a therapist over the phone, you can just schedule an appointment online, and then the system will call you and connect you to your therapist. The same thing goes for video. This one is more personal because you're actually seeing your therapist live. So I know sometimes people feel more comfortable seeing their therapist face to face. And other times, some people feel more comfortable feeling like alone and in their own space. And now they have the option to choose between the two. So that's why I think BetterHelp that's another benefit. Inside of Messenger, you're able to go back and reread your messages, which I think is beneficial because you are actually keeping what you're paying for and you can go back in the times of need. So, unlike regular therapy, you're going to these sessions, you don't get to take back. But with online, you can record these sessions, you can record the talking, you can keep the messages. And when you're feeling down, you can reread them and you can just go over them and make yourself feel more comfortable in the times that you would need. According to a 2019 study done by Laura Notling, online therapy can be effective for depression. In the study, more than 300 BetterHelp users had a significant reductions in symptoms of depressions after 3 months. An example of this is Sarah, who joined BetterHelp July 11th of 2022. Sarah says, prior to joining BetterHelp, I have never received any counseling before. There have been times in my past when I have experienced depressing feelings due to bad experiences with certain people or situations. I have always managed to eventually pick myself up and move on with the help of my friends or family. Sarah continues to say, however, for the first time ever, I was not able to come out of a really depressing situation by myself. I was feeling really bad and saw no other solution than to actually talk to an expert. I came across an ad for BetterHelp and decided it's time for me to speak. My counselor helped me with discussing my current situation and thinking about it in many different ways than I was already. I know that I am capable of doing anything now and that the right time will come for everything if I put the effort in. Another technological benefit BetterHelp is known for not only being able to take credit cards, but also PayPal. This is a great technological development because an app so serious like therapy is able to take PayPal and not necessarily just a credit card, which makes it more accessible for people who aren't able to get accepted for that credit card or, have so much debt on their credit card that they can't pay for therapy. Now they have PayPal, which they can load money on there as much as they need or already have money on there and just send it off. They don't have to feel that extra stress. So this makes it easier on people, the PayPal, when paying because often they feel more comfortable. BetterHelp uses affordable pricing options as well, which are comparable with the copays of most insurance plans. And therapy can get very, very expensive. So BetterHelp being affordable as well as able to use 24/7, it just makes the access even more accessible for bigger groups and larger groups of people. So, BetterHelp also offers financial aid for those who qualify. For example, for anyone who's unemployed or going through a financial difficulty, if you want to apply for financial aid, you'll do so during the sign-up process. As of September 27th, 2022, BetterHelp has given over $36 million in financial aid to cover therapy costs for low-income individuals. This is very helpful because it's making therapy accessible for people who can't afford it and who usually won't receive it on their normal day-to-day. The only thing is you'll be asked to fill out a questionnaire to check your eligibility and if you qualify for financial aid with BetterHelp, and then they will notify you. And if you no longer want to use the services of BetterHelp, The best thing is you can simply cancel your subscription from BetterHelp on the BetterHelp website, making it easy and accessible and not tied in. You're not tied into a contract at all. Overall, there are a numerous amounts to the BetterHelp website. The technology giving you a chance to reach people in a quicker way. The technology that pushes you and advances you to a better therapist that is better made for you and your needs. Or even being cost efficient. This app is helping millions of users everywhere and making therapy accessible. Thank you, BetterHelp. Those are the benefits of BetterHelp.
BetterHelp is a mental health platform that provides online services. It is completely online, and although it has many advantages, it also has many disadvantages. For instance, this is a great resource for people who want to do therapy at the comfort of their home. But we have to remember that, sometimes people don't have that privacy at their own home. Sometimes, they may have a roommate. Of course, they may live with their family or a friend, and they just don't always have, that type of privacy that would be needed, to be able to do your therapy sessions online. Another factor is that internet could be an issue. Sometimes people don't have internet at their home. They rely on using their school library's internet, a public library, perhaps a restaurant, or even a cafe spot. Also, technology is another big factor. Sometimes people don't have up-to-date technology or technology at all. Sometimes people, have their schools. There's some schools that, say that you can rent out, some type of computer, your laptop, something, that you're able to use for the semester or school year, whatever it may be. Or maybe they even borrow technology from their family members or their friends. When you log into the BetterHelp website, you enter a chat room and you message a counselor, but they don't always reply right away. Sometimes it may take a day or two or even longer. Not only that, but it also doesn't give you the option on what therapist or counselor you're going to be getting. Whereas if you were to call a clinic, they automatically tell you the name of that person that you're going to be getting. And they also don't have you waiting around. They give you an appointment maybe that same day if available, maybe the next day, but you always just kind of know of when you're going to be seeing that counselor. Another thing is that if you wanted to go ahead and switch your therapist, then you're going to have to go through the whole process again. So imagine you go maybe your first session or maybe a day or two or something goes by and you feel like that therapist isn't, working out, they're not really for you. You're going to have to do the whole thing again where it automatically gives you a random therapist. So imagine this whole thing just happens over and over again. This also may not be the best option for people who rely, on body language or like seeing someone face to face. Sometimes people rely on looking at others' body language, actually being there, seeing their actual emotions. Whereas, you're going to be basically on a Zoom call where you only see, your therapist's, face and half their body. Also, if you require medical prescription, BetterHelp therapists aren't able to prescribe you anything. This is because psychiatrists aren't part of the BetterHelp staff. BetterHelp therapists also aren't able to diagnose you with any kind of condition that you may have. This is because there isn't a 100% guarantee that these counselors are qualified to do this type of service. On the BetterHelp website, it states that while we may try to do so time to time, you acknowledge that we do not represent to verify, we do not guarantee the verification of skills, degree, or credentials of the counselor/therapist. It basically goes on to say how it is your responsibility when you're signing up, that this is you're accountable for this, that whichever therapist you're going to be getting, you understand that they might not have, a degree, these credentials. And, it kind of takes away from that, because when you log on to this website, you're hoping that you get someone who actually has a degree or these, credentials and knows what they're talking about, who is actually, able to give out this advice. And for all you know, you could be getting someone who doesn't even know who they're talking about, or maybe just read a couple books, did lessons online, but they didn't actually go to school for it or has any kind of certificate to be doing so. Another thing to think about is that it states that it shouldn't be used for people dealing with mental illnesses, such as those who may have schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or even those who self-harm, which kind of takes away from the whole purpose of BetterHelp, because BetterHelp is supposed to be this website, that offers, these therapy sessions, that you can meet up with these therapists. But then why is it, not letting people who have these types of conditions, or, don't know that they have these type of conditions, use that website? Another thing is that if you have insurance, it may not cover the cost at all. And if it does, it's going to be a very small percentage of it. BetterHelp therapists also can't fulfill a court order if you have one. Another downside to BetterHelp is that it's only for adults. So if you're a teenager or even a kid logging onto the BetterHelp website, when it asks you for your age, it's going to automatically transfer you to their sister website. And from there, that's the only website you can use, because BetterHelp only uses people who are of legal age. I was also looking into some of the reviews, and some people said that they offer a great deal when you sign up, but then they automatically start raising the prices, which, you don't want to be going, through this whole process where you're, having your therapy sessions and then automatically you see a charge that's higher than when you started, because BetterHelp should be able to stay true to their prices that they're giving you as soon as you sign up. I was also looking at other reviews, and some people were stating that there are influencers who promote BetterHelp. They said it feels like they're paid actors. There are some YouTube creators who have made sponsored videos for BetterHelp, but their channels aren't even about mental health. So, they only seem to mention it when they do the paid ad for BetterHelp. So imagine, you're watching this YouTube creator and you see that they posted a video, and, you see that it's a paid ad for BetterHelp. But, you're a fan of this creator and you know that their, videos and all of that aren't about mental health or raising that kind of awareness. So now it just seems like they're trying to make money, but also BetterHelp is trying to make money. So it just kind of seems like they're both just trying to profit off this and just, bring in more people. There is also a podcast that does the same thing, except that they offer a discount when you sign up. So, imagine you're listening to this podcast and then, you hear BetterHelp. This is the same thing as, the YouTube creator, because maybe, this podcast, only does, I don't know, like talks about, just other issues that are going on in the world, or, what's the new rumor about a celebrity and, so on. And same thing, you know that this podcast isn't about mental health at all. So how do you're not going to be able to rely, that podcast is being 100% truthful, especially if they're offering a discount, because then it just makes it seem like, oh, just go and, sign up with BetterHelp, because, you're going to be getting a discount, and they don't say it, but, obviously they're going to be getting paid, and so is BetterHelp. Everyone just profits off it. I believe that BetterHelp has good intentions, but it just seems that they want to make money by using these paid ads and sponsorships. Whereas, they could easily bring more people in, by making their own kind of, posts, videos, and maybe actually reaching out to people who do talk about mental health illnesses, or, that actually do want to bring awareness to that. Whereas, not using people who have never even spoken about mental illnesses, because that'll bring more people in. And then it doesn't look, like they are just like this shady company trying to bring whoever in because they just want to make money. Overall, I think that BetterHelp just kind of seems like a corporation, since they do these sponsored ads. Instead, I feel like BetterHelp should try to donate to actual causes to make them a bit more of a credible source, And, then have actual people who do want to sign up to BetterHelp because they see, these ads and they know that it'll be a reliable therapy source.
Going over BetterHelp statistics, I'd first like to go over online therapy statistics in general. So we are expected to see an increase in use, and this was especially evident during lockdown and due to the pandemic, with people, getting worried about losing their jobs, getting sick, and the fate of the economy. So of course, it makes sense for there to be more people seeking help. And some barriers to in-person therapy include cost at 48.2%, insurance limitations at 26.8%, and stigma at 26.2%. Over 70% of people who have tried online therapy reported a reduction in their depression symptoms. And there is a 70% reduction in symptoms of those who classified themselves as having severe depression. There is a 65% reduction in symptoms of those who classified themselves as having moderate depression, and 36% of those who classified themselves as having mild depression did not report depression symptoms after using BetterHelp for 3 months. And now on to BetterHelp statistics. So BetterHelp downloads in the US grew from 50,000 in January to 80,000 in April, a 60% increase. They grew just 15% between January and April of 2019. 75.02% of visitors are from the US, 5.72% are from the UK, and 4.43% are from Canada. The age distribution is 28.19% are age 18 to 24 years old, 31.13% are age 25 to 34 years old, and 16.65% are age 35 to 44 years old. In terms of gender within clients, 56.76% were female and 43.24% were male. Continuing on, based on the website statistics, when asking if it was affordable or not, 85% agreed, while 15% disagreed. And versus face-to-face counseling, we saw that 66% agreed, while 34% disagreed about the cost. And in determining whether BetterHelp was effective versus in-face counseling, we see that 98% agree and 2% disagree. When talking about face-to-face counseling being effective, we saw 71% agreed and 29% disagreed. And when asking if BetterHelp is the right kind of help, 96% agreed and 4% disagreed. And versus face-to-face counseling being right for the individual, 60% agreed and 40% disagreed. With BetterHelp allowing the individual to make progress on their problem, 98% agreed and 2% disagreed with that. With face-to-face counseling allowing an individual to make progress on their problem, 74% agreed and 26% disagreed with that statement. In determining whether BetterHelp is the right help right when they need it, 91% agreed and 9% disagreed. Versus face-to-face counseling, getting help or being the help right there, 63% agreed and 37% disagreed. On these statistics, with BetterHelp being just one of the many online therapy resources versus in-person counseling, we see that online therapy is more accessible to the individual, can make the individual feel more at home, more comfortable, can definitely be less expensive according if the individual has insurance or not, and is most likely beneficial to those who need access right away. They don't have time to drive over to their nearest therapist. And so we can see that technology is definitely making getting help more easier. It's, their technology is improving. There's just so many ways you can connect with a professional to, rant about your problems, to get resources for your problems, and it's only going to get more advanced. Continuing the discussion of BetterHelp versus face-to-face, individuals or participants were asked the question of what proportion of your treatment needs were being met through counseling overall, and with measuring it on a mean scale or average scale, BetterHelp scored about a 3.2 and face-to-face scored about a 2.5 on the average scale, indicating that overall, as an average, BetterHelp was more successful in meeting treatment needs. Another question that they were asked was how would they rate their overall quality of their counseling experience. Again, we're given this mean or average scale, and with BetterHelp scoring at about 3.7 and face-to-face scoring about a 2.8, again, we're seeing that BetterHelp was more successful in meeting this need. And they're also asked, how likely are you to return to counseling again in the event that you need help with a new problem? And BetterHelp scored about 4.9 on the mean or average scale, with face-to-face scoring almost at a 3. And we see that BetterHelp scored way more higher than face-to-face. Another question they were asked was how would you compare your experience on BetterHelp to face-to-face therapy? And this time we're given a kind of color-coded chart. The red indicated that BetterHelp was much worse. The orange indicated that BetterHelp was somewhat more worse. The yellow indicated that BetterHelp was about the same as face-to-face therapy. The light green indicated BetterHelp was somewhat better. And the dark green indicated that BetterHelp was much better. So for quality, we don't see a lot of red. We see a little bit of the orange, which I'm assuming was about 0 to maybe 3% that BetterHelp was somewhat worse. We see the yellow, which was BetterHelp was about the same as face-to-face therapy. That was probably about 3% to about 21 or 22%. We also see the light green with BetterHelp being somewhat better. That was about 21 to about 42%. And then we see the dark green with the quality being much better than face-to-face therapy. We have that at about 42% all the way to 100. Again, with progress, we don't see any red. We definitely see some yellow. We see a little bit of green as well. And then we also see a lot of dark green, with it being much better than face-to-face therapy as in the progress. For accessibility, we definitely see a lot of dark green, with it being about 25 to all the way to 100, meaning that there is definitely a lot more ways to connect with a therapist online. And then also for the fit, which I'm assuming means like fitting your schedule, your day-to-day activities. We also see like a lot of green in that area. Very few orange though. So I want to say the dark green percentage was about 25 all the way to 100. And it being effective, we also see some of the dark green. And we also see the kind of the yellow and light green being evenly balanced on that scale of being effective. And then for convenience, we don't see any of the orange or yellow. We definitely see a lot of that dark green, but also some of the light green, with the dark green being about 19% all the way to 100%. And affordability is kind of mixed up in there, but I definitely see more green than the light yellow and light orange. And affordability is about an even 20% all the way to 100%. And then the final question they were asked was, how likely are you to return to BetterHelp instead of face-to-face therapy in the event that you needed help with a new problem? We see another color-coded chart or box plot. the red indicated that they were very unlikely that they would choose BetterHelp over face-to-face therapy. The orange indicated that they were somewhat unlikely that they would choose BetterHelp over face-to-face therapy, and yellow indicating they were not sure if they would choose BetterHelp over face-to-face therapy. Light green indicating that they were somewhat unlikely that they would choose BetterHelp over face-to-face, and dark green indicating that they would very likely choose BetterHelp over face-to-face therapy. Now we see a little bit of the red. I want to say that's about 0 to maybe 5%, so it's not very much. And then for orange, we don't really see any orange in this chart, but we do see some yellow about being unsure, and that was probably about 5 to maybe 8%. And then we see some light green that they are somewhat likely. We see that about maybe 11% all the way to maybe 29%. And then finally, for being very likely to choose BetterHelp over face-to-face therapy, we see that at about 28% all the way to 100%. And based on all this data, we're seeing that BetterHelp was very much more successful in making individuals have a better experience with therapy online instead of face-to-face, with many of the benefits being it's more accessible, more affordable, and it can fit into people's schedules more easily.
Hello, my name is Pamela Chautla, and I'll be concluding our presentation on the application and website BetterHelp, which aims to provide most people accessible and affordable therapy online. As mentioned, my classmates Amy Carbajal, Jesus Juarez, Andrea Torres, Jaelynn, Wright, and I decided to present the application and website BetterHelp because we believe it is a terrific example of the connection between technology and humanity. Through times of great distress, like a global pandemic, technological advancements help us take care of our mental health by providing ways to seek therapy online. As introduced by my classmate Jesus, BetterHelp is different from in-person therapy in several ways. The first obvious sign is that it is online and that it can be accessed through most technological gadgets like a phone, tablet, or computer. The main requirement of them is that you and your therapist can communicate. With that being stated, BetterHelp helps all kinds of people, including those that are new to therapy or already familiar with it. BetterHelp works with trained professionals so you can talk with them and make sure you get quality time and responses. To those that may be doubtful, there is a questionnaire that seeks to dictate your specific needs, including sex, religion, and even LGBT representation when it comes to choosing your therapist. With these needs thought about, you may feel even more comfortable talking about your feelings and ideas. Now, like with all innovative ideas, there are pros and cons. As my classmate Jaelynn mentions, there are several benefits to the website. BetterHelp can fit anyone's schedule, as you're able to choose which dates and times work for you. If you feel more comfortable texting or calling, BetterHelp also offers those options when wanting to speak to a therapist. It is also affordable and even provides financial aid to those that may need it. The company takes into account how sometimes not all people can access therapy, so it helps those who qualify for it. Now, even though BetterHelp has some great benefits, it also has its disadvantages, as my classmate Amy explained. Even though BetterHelp provides financial aid for those who may need it, it can eventually raise its price without any forewarning. This is a step backwards in reliability, as many people tend to budget and only have a certain amount for each expense they have. Also, even though BetterHelp can be done in your home, there are those who lack the privacy to talk freely. Therapy consists of sometimes delicate subjects, and it makes sense that one will be mortified if overheard talking about the personal issues. Lastly, even though BetterHelp can aid in dealing with depression and anxiety, its resources tend to limit the mental illnesses they can help with. People with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia cannot be diagnosed with BetterHelp, nor get the specific help they need. This means that BetterHelp can help with some mental issues, but not all of them, including those that may need prescriptions for medications. All the benefits and disadvantages mentioned are backed by data. The statistics my classmate Andrea provided prove this. As said, there are certain people who truly believe that BetterHelp aided them in a more convenient way than in-person therapy. According to online therapy, 91% agree with the statement against the 9% that disagreed. During the COVID-19 global pandemic, people sought online therapy as a way to cope with what was going on. According to Sensor Tower, an industry-leading and key metric data monitor, the downloads of BetterHelp saw an increase of 60% as visitors from the US, the United Kingdom, and Canada looked to sign up to the website. To conclude, I want to focus on the connection between technology and the prominent help it has given humanity, especially in the area of mental health. The application and website BetterHelp is a perfect example of this. One of the main ways technology has helped our lives become better is by making things in place more accessible. As stated, the downloads of BetterHelp increased during the pandemic, and it makes sense why. We were not able to go out in fear of infection and could only go to places we really needed, like grocery store, pharmacies, jobs, and other essential places. Therapy is something that a lot of people needed in order to cope with such difficult times, and there were others that simply already had a habit of talking to someone in their daily lives. So what better solution than a place online that, number one, completely followed the pandemic guidelines of staying indoors, and number two, helped anyone who needed an understanding ear or just wanted to talk to another human being. Humans are social beings. We need to talk to other people. A website that allows someone to text, call, or video chat to talk about their personal issues and seek advice is a complete game changer. In my opinion, the point of technology is to make life easier for humans, more accessible for all. There are those who prefer calling and video chatting, and there are those that are a bit more reserved that would prefer texting. When it comes to online therapy, the fact that BetterHelp allows users to text with therapists and speak in their own time shows the compassion and accessibility technology allows us to create for the individual needs of individual folks. When the pandemic started, all sectors of life had to figure out how to do things in a remote manner. The area of healthcare did not hold back, and as seen in many advertisements, telehealth is not here to stay. Telehealth is a form of video conferencing service where doctors can talk with patients and give healthcare advice and diagnosis. It is incredible to see that via technology, doctors can now see you, take care of you, and even give out the needed prescriptions and diagnosis without them leaving their office, and you your home. Of course, there are limits to this, as more severe illnesses require the typical doctor-patient relationship. But when it comes to smaller cases and questions, the option of telehealth is really good too. Just like telehealth, BetterHelp provides a different approach to the usual ways we may take care of our mental health. There is nothing wrong with in-person therapy. On the contrary, some folks may prefer it because they like to have that conventional physical environment and connection. But there are others who would genuinely like to try therapy at their homes because their homes are their safe places. Others may work at a certain hour and cannot change their schedules, so they seek BetterHelp because it has flexibility in being able to choose when you make your own appointment, with who, and how you speak to them. In conclusion, technology has advanced very far. It now interlaps in almost all aspects of life, including mental health. Now we can go ahead and seek help when life gets difficult via websites and applications like BetterHelp. Technology helps us create invisible bridges that aid us in our mental health, bridges that help us handle crises like global pandemics, and bridges that simply lead us to a helping person that might just give us the right piece of advice during therapy. My name is Pamela Chautla, and my group consists of Jesus Juarez, Andrea Torres, Jaelynn, Wright, and Amy Carbajal, Gutierrez. And on behalf of all of us, we thank you for watching our presentation.